South Africa have sealed the series with a 2-0 win, one game to spare. It is a 42-run win for South Africa against Ireland in the second T20. David Miller, star man of the show, 75 or 44 balls, a strike rate of 170.45, 5 sixes and 4 fours. We also have to give some credit to Vian Mulder for his batting performance. Him scoring 36 runs off 26 balls. Incredible performance from him, also striking at 138.46, 2 fours and 2 sixes. But the bowlers, once again, South Africa only getting to 159 for 7, having to defend a target of 160. And they bowled Ireland out for 117, thanks to an awesome performance, particularly from the spinners, that being Tabrei Shamsi and Bjorn Fortuin. 3 wickets apiece. Bjorn 3 for 16, with an economy rate of 4, and Tabrei Shamsi 3 for 14 with an economy rate of 3.50. Also, special mention has to go out to Bjorn Hendricks, 2 for 28 with an economy of 7, and as well as Lungin Gidi taking that with that magnificent slow ball Yorker to wrap up the game. For the first time, we actually took out all the wickets. We cleared the wickets tally with for the first time. I mean, we didn't manage to do that in the first T20, but we managed to do it in the second one. So that's the series for South Africa. So very happy for the boys, very happy for this win. It's going to do a lot to their confidence. It's going to really make them really happy. We saw Mark Boucher, obviously, after the game, not really smiling as per usual, because he knows his mindset is on that T20 World Cup, and he's obviously focused on getting that and finding the right combinations. So well done to South Africa for the victory, but we'll be discussing it more in depth, everything that we liked, everything that we did not like, and more on this particular review show. If you're new to this channel and it's the first time that you're here, please click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos. Yes, I'm talking to you right there. That subscribe button is red. It shouldn't be. Click on it and click that notification bell. Smash that like button as well and share this with all your friends and family. Let's get straight into this particular episode. We're going to have a string of panelists coming on the show today. They will be coming on throughout the show because obviously the press conference is on right now. Some people wanted to watch the post-match presentation and all of those type of things as well. So people will come on the show as we go along. We're also going to be putting the live stream call-in link in the chat right now. I've just posted it right now for you guys to be able to come on the show and come give your say and have your say if you want to do that too. So let's get straight into today's video. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the T20 series between South Africa and Ireland. This is my co-host, Aditya, and we're going to start off this conversation. I've pinned the stream link in the top of this particular chat, so you guys can come on the show if you'd like and have your say about South Africa's performance. So myself and Aditya are probably going to get things going. The Daily Show earlier on today, we spoke about strike rates. And today there are a couple of strike rates that we're very happy about, but a lot of them that we weren't so happy about. I think ultimately the batting performance is what we need to start talking about first. Now let's get into that one, Aditya. As per usual, Quinton de Kock setting himself and then losing his wicket. Unfortunately, it wasn't what we needed from him. We needed him to stick through. But David Miller stepped up today and put on a performance that we've been waiting for him to put on. For quite some time, we've been waiting for him to put on a performance like this. And You know, what I really enjoyed about it is that he took responsibility 100% in this particular innings. It wasn't about him rotating strikes and doing all of those things when he's not supposed to. Particularly in that final over, I was very happy that he kept the strike and he said, look here, I'm going to take the strike here. Let me go and smack this ball out the park so that we can get that extra runs, get closer to 160. It's looking like that 160 mark is almost like the benchmark for South Africa. It's like the total that we always getting 160, 165, 170. I would really like to see us push on and get much higher totals, but ultimately a great performance on David Miller, and is exactly what we wanted to see. So Harshit, I'm sure you're licking your lips and smiling there with tears in your eyes at this performance from David Miller. Chepo's joined us as well, so he's in the stream with us. How's it, brother? So we're just going to be talking about the batting performance first and foremost. Aditya, once again, what I didn't like about it is the fact that they losing their wickets again cheaply, and I don't like that. I think other than Aiden Markram, majority of them shouldn't have lost their wickets the way they had. Aiden got a straight delivery that he missed completely, but I mean, it was a pretty good delivery as well from his part. I don't think that against spinners that are not getting much turn, losing Yanaman and using Bavuma both with ducks with almost identical shots, this kind of shows the mentality that South Africa is trying to go with in these particular games. And I want South Africa to maybe learn more of that smartness when it comes to their cricket game, and when it comes to batting, that they think about what they need to do. So in that particular match, in that particular moment, that there's a wicket that falls, when you lose your captain for a duck, the time for Yanaman to come in and just sit back a little bit, get off the mark, and then let Quinton de Kock take the majority of the strike and get himself in first and foremost, because especially after the performance that he had in the first game. The same with Bavuma. I would have liked to have seen the same thing from Bavuma as well. But what's your thoughts on it, Aditya?
Well, first off, congratulations to David Miller and Vian Mulder. David Miller is a proven performer, and it's been a while since he's put on this sort of a performance. So congratulations to him. He did an outstanding job. Hitting 4 sixes in the 20th over of a game, it's almost always a game changer. Fantastic. I was so pleased to see Vian Mulder bat the way he did. Those 36 runs are so crucial. And I think those 36 runs will take him to the World Cup. So very well done to Vian Mulder, striking at a very healthy rate. Excellent. The top 4, and particularly Temba and Yanama Moran. I'm sorry, there are no words to describe that. It's shocking. The game awareness there is shocking. Temba Bavuma has the luxury of batting alongside Quinton de Kock. Quinton de Kock, you don't even have to tell him he's going to be the aggressor. Temba Bavuma there was no need for him to play the shot that he did. And he's the captain of the South African T20 team. He is an under fire captain of the South African T20 team. And if there's anyone in the team who desperately needs to score runs, given the scrutiny that is on them, it is Temba Bavuma. He needs to prove himself in this T20 lineup. And Yanaman Malan, I'm sorry, there's no other way to say it, but it's just a very poor game awareness. He needed to just hang in there a bit, rotate strike. You've lost your captain in the first over of the game, and you've got Quinton de Kock, an informed Quinton de Kock. There is no excuse for the shot that he played. Same bowler, same fielder. You've lost 2 wickets in the first over. In the first over, you've put so much pressure on the rest of your batting lineup, which was already under pressure. So there is a lot of work to be done. But I guess the highlight is that David Miller was able to pull off a rescue.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I'm just going to, before you go, Tsepo, I just want to bring our caller on the show, is our Patron over here. Welcome to the show, Werner. One of our long-standing fans that has been there from the beginning. So, welcome to the show, brother. I'm just gonna let Seppo give his thoughts, and then you can head over to your thoughts on the game as well after Seppo's. Go straight into it after Seppo's done.
First thought, Werner, it is so good to see you. Thanks for always tweeting. You're a legend. Second thought, yeah, that was pretty trash. The way we lost wickets. It was squeaky bum time and it was over number one. Come on, 0 for 2. Guys, come on, guys. But it gets me. The only thing that's like rationalizes those decisions, is something that Temba Bavuma said off the toss in the first T20. They asked Temba, how much are you targeting here? And then he was like, oh, well, as much as possible, I guess. We're trying to get big scores. It's clear that they want to try to get over 160. Right now, getting 159, basically, it's the same thing. So one thing that worked for South Africa in the West Indies was attacking the power play. So it seems that is the time that they're identifying to get maximum runs, because we've been struggling to score runs in the middle overs. So we've been trying to rotate the strike. So it seems that we're trying to target the fielding restrictions to see if we can maximize runs. And that is the only reason I could see for the likes of Temba Bavuma, Yanaman Malan playing such aggressive shots so early. I mean, right now we're saying that's bad from Temba Bavuma. How are you doing this? But in the last game, he scored like 2 boundaries in the first over. And we're like, oh, wow, this guy's got class. Hey, this guy, wow, from ball 1, that's fantastic. If it strikes, it strikes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then it goes back to the plan where they're saying we want to make sure that one of our guys are in, have batted. There must be a set batsman. There must be no new batsman. Well, not no new batsman, but there must be a set batsman from over number 15. And David Miller was that today. Let's be frank. That's what he was. He finished strong. And I think that is the clear plan. Don't hold on to your wicket too much, especially in the power play, when you could go out early and give the likes of Rassie van der Dussen, David Miller more time in the middle. Maybe it makes sense to me, but I'm happy to be corrected. And then one more thing, just on my title, maybe 160 is enough. How on earth do we always score 160 7 games straight? What do you mean? That's consistency on another level. I've never seen consistency like this from a South African batting lineup in my life. I'm done.
That's a good point, Chebu. Can you guys hear me?
Perfectly.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad that we are making 160 consistently, but I'm probably more with the other guys. I'd like to see some more. I'd like to see our whole batting lineup fire, not just one guy all the time, not just Quinton or not just Miller in this game. I still think we're batting both Rassie and Miller a spot too low. I would personally probably have to let go of Malan in this lineup and shift them both up one spot, and then I'd rather have Mulder then coming in at 6, and then when Pretorius is back, slot him in at 6, and then you could go 7 Linda or 14 and the rest of the lineup as it usually is. But yeah, so good to finally see Miller get a nice run out, but today he had a lot more time. He isn't. I know we're playing him like he's our finisher, but he's not gonna come in and hit 20 of 7 balls. That's not his game. He takes his time as well. He takes at least 10, 15 balls to get his eye in. He likes to strike, run a ball, nudge it around for a few overs, and then he gets himself set. And if he's then in the last 3 overs, he's going to smash any bowler that misses the block, or let's say. So I do believe he needs to bat up a bit higher. I would even like him batting at 4, but I wouldn't want Rassie lower than 4. So 4 and then Miller at 5 is fine. But I don't think having Rassie at 5 is doing him justice the way he was before the West Indies series or the beginning of the West Indies series. And having Miller at 6 is way too low as well.
I think that's an excellent point, because you want your best players to face the majority of the balls. I hope that when they go into the T20 World Cup, that this quota things go out of the window and they just pick their best team for the day and for the conditions. I think that the quota should rather be within the squad as a whole, and rather you can rather get a squad as a whole going over there, because we naturally pick the perfect. We naturally pick a side with the best players. When you do pick your best players, quota doesn't really matter because currently we are picking our best players. Like the 2019 World Cup, they decided that they're not going to pick quotas for that 2019 World Cup. They're going to pick the best 11 informed currently for that particular World Cup. So maybe they do that right now. Maybe they do that for this thing. I'm all for transformation, of course. So don't think that because I'm saying that I don't think of transformation. I just want them to pick on basically on guys that are red hot form, and to give us our best opportunity to obviously win games. Abai, you are here with us right now as well. Welcome to the show, brother. You just came fresh out of the David Miller press conference. So let me know what he had to say, particularly about his particular performance.
All right, instead of like me just saying the entire thing, I think it's probably a better idea if I say like one thing at a time, and then we all talk about it. I think. No,
wait, just give me something that stood out. Don't have to give me the whole press conference. We'll obviously be doing a piece, etc., so people can find that out. I want people to watch the press conference on our channel. So just give me one thing that stood out, maybe about his performance and what they must have asked him about what he did differently in this particular game compared to other games, did they not?
Actually, I don't believe someone asked that word for word, but I can just summarize what I've heard so far.
Awesome.
So he said that coming in at number 6 is something that's required from him, and it's all on him to adjust. Even though he didn't have a good series last time in the Caribbean, he never really believed he was out of form. He wanted to keep the negativity away, wanted to take it day by day, focus on the next game and the next game and the next game. So he said the partnership with Mulder took plenty of pressure off. Obviously, he started off on the slower side compared to Mulder, who opened up at the end of the 16th over and started to hit in the 17th over, while Miller opened up like in the 18th over, and then he hit 4 sixes, of course, in the last over. So that was the match-winning stand, according to him. Let's see here. So he emphasized the fact that he wants to contribute to the team regardless of where he bats. So he says he's not too worried about batting positions. He needs to keep reminding himself of the role that he's going to play. So impact and strike rate are the two most important things for him at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. There we go, Aditya. That's basically our whole show, a daily show. Here's Aaron coming on into the stream as well. The big talker over here in the group was telling us that Ireland. He said that Ireland's going to bash us and that we can't bat, and he's telling us a whole lot of stuff. Actually, I'm joking. Look at Aaron. What's your thoughts on this?
What are my thoughts? No, boys, I'm sat here in my Proteas shirt. By the way, that should tell you absolutely everything. So, first things first.
Has to be offensive, though.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say, all it tells us is that you're jumping sides, Aaron. That's all it's telling us.
Very funny, boys. Very, very funny. But in all seriousness, in this series, well done, South Africa. That is now 2 back-to-back T20I series victories. I used to have a stat which I used to come on here and say, and that was that South Africa had not won a T20I series since March 2019. That stat is out the window now. Back-to-back series victories against the West Indies and Ireland. And the fact is, you have to win these series. People can say, oh, it's only Ireland, or they're not the greatest team in the world. You have to beat what's in front of you. And South Africa have done it. Have they done it very convincingly? That's up for people to decide. In my personal opinion, I don't think they have. I think in terms of the bowling, you've got to brace Shamsi, who's just on another planet right now, and he's absolutely extraordinary. I've no doubt we'll talk about him, not just in this series, but of course, as the T20 World Cup gets underway in October. But I just feel like with this South African side at the moment, there's still something about them which to me says that they're not going to make it in the top 2 in the T20 World Cup. I just don't think they have the tools in the arsenal just yet. They're winning games, which first of all is fantastic. All you have to do is win games. That is your currency in T20 cricket. But there's just something, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if any of you guys can explain it, but there's just something which prevents me from saying that the South Africa side are really set right now ahead of that T20 World Cup?
Look, Aaron, let me tell you, it's a lot of things that makes you feel that way. I'm very much Team Protea Fire. I'm very much believe in the dream, like my man Tato here in the comments. The thing about Tabrez Shamsi is that I have this argument when people say, "Oh, you know what, your team sucks without your best player." It's like, but that's our best player. That's like, you can't say that except for if they got injured, then it would be a different story. But right now, all that I feel honestly is missing is just a few runs, 20 runs. 20 runs for me is missing in our batting lineup. We need to find those 20 runs somewhere. Those 20 runs could literally just be turning 4 dots into 4 boundaries. Those 20 runs could be like decreasing the dot balls. But the fact is, we're literally just undercooked in a few places, and combinations just need to strike. What we need is the batsmen that are in those positions to show their quality. Because as soon as they show their quality, then they'll be then we'll have then we'll be in the top 2. Honestly, David Miller took some time for him to click. He's clicked. He's looking great. Maybe he just needed some time in the middle. Maybe he needed some time away and to come back, but he clicked. Same thing with Lungi Ngidi. Looked terrible in the West Indies, but eventually he clicked. So right now, honestly, I just feel that things just need to click. People just need to read the conditions, assess the conditions, and play that game. And for us to click, everything needs to be 100%. And right now, selection is not 100%. There are a lot of things that go into this tour. It's not just, let's just put out our best 11 and go. It's not the T20 World Cup now. This is Ireland, which means if you're coming in as a stronger team, you probably want to test your depth to prepare for the World Cup. What if Ngidi gets injured? We need a new bowler. What if Miller gets injured? We need someone to step up there. So that's why things aren't clicking just yet. But maybe in Sri Lanka, I'm hoping in Sri Lanka, we'll start seeing a 100% top 10 side or top 11 side that will play in the T20. That's my thing.
Yeah, because I mean, if they can start putting in performances against Sri Lanka and our other batsmen come to the party, you're going into a World Cup with momentum. And players like Aiden, players like Yanaman, generally speaking, are guys that like Quinton specifically as well. I think Quinton's also quite a momentum type of player. When he's on a roll, he's very difficult to stop. And I think currently he's in the best form of his life. I hope he doesn't fall out of form just before the World Cup, because cricket's one of those games that you fail more than you succeed. It just naturally is like that. If you look at stats all over the world, no one scored 7 or 8 50s on the bounce necessarily consistently over a period of time. Like, I don't know those stats are better than me with regards to this.
AB probably has. Let's face it, De Villiers definitely he would have.
So like for us to find guys to all of our guys to do that is going to be very unlikely. Okay, so anyway, so I'm as inconsistent as our batting lineup today. So when we talk about them, it's about whether Yanaman plays. Because now that number 4, 5, 6, because people want Rasiaya up. Does Yanaman play? Does Faf come back? Does
John come back?
Ah, Lord.
If John batted at 7, shout out. I would actually be open to that idea. If he batted low down the order, I'd actually be open to that idea.
Yeah, but can he finish the innings? I'm a bit doubtful there.
He can do
I
it all.
I haven't seen him do that.
I'm not convinced.
I don't think we should take the opinion of Mr. Pebble over there very seriously.
Mr. Pebble, Mr. Boulder, Werner, Mr. Boulder, Mr. Average of under 30. Well, what is it, 13 now? I believe it is after the New Zealand series. But we're not here to talk about Oliver Peter-Stone. Although I'm going to be honest, lads, rent-free inside of all of your heads. Okay, you bring him up every single time. I didn't bring him up tonight. But anyway, with regards to John. I know there's all of this, laugh and joke about it. Genuinely, South Africa could do with an all-rounder. Who knows? That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to put him out there.
Right. We could do with Chris Morris, but apparently Boucher and co don't have a very good relationship with him.
I think, for some reason, I don't know. This is going to be taking a wild guess now, guys. So don't take this as verbatim. I think it has a lot to do with giving him the security or the assurances that he's definitely going to be a starter, or how much money they want to pay, because they're not contracted, remember? So Faf is not contracted, Morris is not contracted, and Imran Tahir is not contracted. So they're going to have to pay them some decent money for them to be part of this particular team. So, and it has to be more money that they will be getting in the T20 leagues around the world as well, maybe. So, or close, because there is obviously, you are going to sacrifice for your country. You know, you're not going to be a total brat and say, okay, no, you're not paying me enough, I'm not going to play. But at least make it somewhat feasible for them to say, okay, look here, it's actually worth my while to leave from playing those leagues and rather play for my country, and in these games leading up to the World Cup, I'm saying. So obviously match bonuses and all of those things, I don't know how the contracts are going to work for a World Cup tournament itself. Could we see Boucher do something like that and say, look here, after the Sri Lanka series, say, hey, Mori, hey, Faf, are you guys going to come back for the World Cup? My opinion on that is it's going to throw the whole team chemistry that they're building and the entire, because sport is a lot, especially team sport, it's a lot about building that gees, as we say in South Africa, and that mood in the squad, where the guys feel vibrant, they feel energized, they believe they can win. There's already leadership groups forming. There's already guys that are going to stand up and say, look here, do this, do that. You know, you have that Pogba-like figures that was in the final of against France, for France in the World Cup. He stood up in the final and spoke to the teammates, and those guys are maybe the guys that stand up might be the younger guys. You know, like Aiden Markram, who has won a World Cup before with the under 19s, he might take a different leadership role. Now you bring in another leader in, or senior guy that they respect or look up to, that they might fall down, you know, the picking order with regards to that. They might not take that that responsibility as much as they would when Faf is not around or Chris Morris is not around. You know, you don't know what type of leadership qualities you're going to be getting from them. So we have to see what Boucher does. I mean, Imran Tahir, why there's been no conversation about him at all? I mean, I've been in a press conference where they've asked about Chris Morris, Faf, and Tahir, and the answer was only towards Faf and Morris. They didn't even mention Tahir, which is quite shocking to me, because I think that having a wrist spinner like Imran and Shamsi, that's bloody dangerous. And especially on slower wickets. I mean, you don't have to necessarily then play three seamers. You can have Andrich, you can have KG, you can have Shamsi, and you can have Imran Tahir. It's a possibility to have them. I don't know why Sepp was waving his finger at one of the best spinners that we've ever
tell you
used.
why. I'll tell you why. Because we had the same sentiment, or at least I had the same sentiment for Hashim Amla in the 2019 World Cup. And what the 2019 World Cup showed me is that people can overstay their welcomes. Imran Tahir is a fantastic bowler, one of our best bowlers ever. But right now he hasn't been in the setup. Now we call him up, we bring him in. Now Bjorn Fontaine is sitting bench. 2 years later, 10 years later, SJ in. What's Fontaine going to say? These guys, they brought me on tour. What for? Just so that I could watch Imran Tahir. It was a good watch. But now, what am I supposed to do? And remember, guys, now when you're going on tour, it's not the same as back in the day. Now there's COVID. Now you are not seeing your family for 2 months straight. 2 months for no games. Guys, please, let's respect these professionals. Like, if Tahir wanted to be in the setup, surely he would have been in the setup. And if he's
I know
not,
that he wants to be in the setup.
Okay, but then the fact of the matter is, like, we've been criticizing Boucher for his form as a coach, but he hasn't been given like all the people that he needs. So we would have loved to see Faf, but I mean, I'm sure Boucher would have loved to see Faf. He doesn't have Faf. So what does he have to do? He has to work with other players. But now what happens when Faf comes into the side? What now? Yanaman Malan, after scoring 17 billion runs in a one-day international, what must he do now to get into the side if that wasn't enough? Can you see how it, like, bringing in these old players can be problematic to the development of our future generations?
I get that,
guys, and there's no gap.
Strategically, it's also, you have to think strategically for each format.
Yes,
for each
I
format.
agree.
So In ODIs, yes, Janneman has been excellent, but in T20s, he hasn't really showed the same metal that he's shown in ODIs. He hasn't been the same player for South Africa. So whereas Markram has been, and in ODIs he hasn't shown it. So the different formats are different. Them as players, they might need to. We spoke about this earlier, myself and Aditya, because we spoke about Aiden Markram's role in ODI cricket compared to his role in T20 cricket. And I don't want to go ahead and say this because I think Aditya puts it much better than me. So I'm going to allow you, Aditya, to explain that, because there's a particular player you also said that he should emulate with regards to this. I gave Aditya that point earlier on. I said Aiden in ODI cricket needs to play a more attacking test brand type of mindset than a quick ball T20 type of mindset, because I think he's trying to mimic that. But Aditya, go ahead and just explain that from an international perspective.
Right. So what I said about Aiden Markram was that he needs to bring more discipline into his one-day game. When he's batting with Quinton de Kock at the top of the order, de Kock is the aggressor, and he quite naturally is able to score at a high run rate. So Aiden Markram doesn't need to go hammer and tongs right from the get-go in 50-over cricket. He has a lot more time, which probably means that he needs to be a bit more disciplined in his approach, play along the ground more. He doesn't need to swing outside the off stump and give his wicket away. He doesn't need to play too many aerial shots in the first 10 overs. So he needs to follow more of a Rohit Sharma sort of template, where he plays risk-averse cricket till he's about 50 or 75, even 100 maybe, and then he can launch as hard as he wants to, as Rohit Sharma does. Because remember, Rohit Sharma has hit 3 triple hundreds in ODI cricket. That's the world record, and there's no reason that Aiden Markram. 3 double hundreds, you're right. Sorry about that. 3 double hundreds in ODI cricket. And he is outstanding in the format, and I feel like Aiden Markram has the game to be able to do that. That was my point, and by extension, Janneman Malan, excellent player in ODI cricket, but it seems like the time that he has in ODI cricket, he doesn't have in T20 cricket, and especially at number 3. So today, what we've seen from him is unacceptable for a player who's just scored 177 runs. He cannot be playing that sort of shot, in the first over of the game and contributing to 0 for 2. I'm sorry that he's played the MSL for a while. He's been around the Proteas setup for a while. How he got out today cannot happen.
Simple. We know that you're such a massive optimist. Everybody's opinion counts here. Okay. Look, Werner, I want to ask you, to approach this World Cup now, one series, do you think it's enough to actually find some sort of solidity for South Africa so that they know which roles or which players will be in which roles, etc.? Do you think that one more series will be able to help South Africa determine that? Have you seen enough from them so far in the series that we have seen them play for you to say one more series will be able to give Boucher the understanding of, okay, this is my top 6, this is how they're going to play? Or do you think that Boucher has already found out his system, and his system is to allow players to walk out to the middle according to situation and match situation?
I think we are close to having our top 6. I don't know if one more series is going to make the world's difference unless we start suddenly scoring 180 consistently. But I do think we need to play 2 all-rounders. Only having 5 bowling options has hurt us in the past, and I think having 4 openers is not really going to work out well for us. So I would rather have one of either Malan or Markram, but Markram has had a great T20 year for South Africa this year. So I'd rather have him bat at 3, Rassie 4, Miller 5, and then one of either Mulder or Pretorius at 6 with Linda or Fontaine. But yeah, it's hard because we have been winning these last couple of series, but we have had the same problems it's been the middle order. Okay, today it was the top order, obviously, but it's mostly been the middle order. We've been struggling. We've done well in the West Indies through the power play. We were quick off the mark. We got to like over 8. We were already at 70, 80 runs and going great guns. And then suddenly between overs, let's say after the power play, between 7 and 14, we're only taking singles, not getting any boundaries. I mean, it's a simple game actually. If you can get one boundary, only one boundary and over between that period, you get singles the rest, you get 8, 9 runs and over. That's all you need. You don't need anything more than that. And then you can launch again at the last 5 overs. So it's not really rocket science, but we get bogged down, especially by the spinners. We keep blocking it straight on the ground, like Rassi today. He got 6 or 15 balls or something like that. Now I understand you need to consolidate after losing 2, 3 quick wickets. That makes sense. You need to consolidate, and Rassi's that type of player. He needs some time to get in any case. But he didn't look like he was going to rotate the strike at all. He kept blocking it straight back down the ground. He wasn't turning his wrist, dropping it to mid-wicket, taking a run, putting it into the covers, taking a run. It's simple things. It's something like that. Just making sure they're getting a single off every ball, limiting the dots to a minimum. You can't be facing 4 or 5 dots per over. It just doesn't work. It totally blocks the whole momentum of the game. Even if you are 2 or 3 quick wickets down, you could put pressure back on the bowlers just by making sure you don't have dot balls. If you have a left-hand, right-hand combination, say Rassi and Miller's at the crease. If you keep taking a single every ball, the bowlers are going to have to keep switching up. The fielders are going to have keep running across the pitch to get to their position. So it's simple stuff like that that we need to sort out. But I think our bowlers are obviously great at this stage. Our bowlers are where they should be. I back them to defend most scores. Shamsi is going great.
To defend 160. That's what you back them to defend.
I backed him to defend 160 to a lot of teams. I'm not so sure how we will defend 160 against England. Or how we will defeat against India. It's not going to be that easy. We have struggled to defend 200 against England. They have now scored like 3 times. We have made more than 200 against England, and they've chased it down. Now, obviously, pitches differ. The West Indies series and this series has been on slower pitches. It's probably been good preparation for the UAE that won't be too quick. So that's been decent. I think we might get away with couple of 160, 170 scores, but I'm not convinced we will defend that type of score in England. And here's the other thing. What if we don't bat first? We have been unable to chase anything above 160, 170 for the longest time now. So we can say, yes, it's great, we can defend 160, but what if we keep losing the toss and we keep having to chase? What then? Yeah, that's true. And Aaron, this is for you because you probably know the most about England and the way you guys play, obviously. But when it comes to South Africa, and I noticed something when you guys played against us, you don't necessarily come out. Your aggressive style of play is not necessarily you guys coming out and swinging. You guys do adapt and change the way you play according to what the situation is showing you. And that's the smart part of that aggressive and smart cricket that we're talking about. Whereas for me, what I'm seeing with South Africa is that the game plan remains the same, even though you lose a wicket. So you've got Temba comes out, he swings at a ball, Nick gets a no turn on the pitch and nicks it off. Janneman comes out, does exactly the same thing, goes out. Now, I'm not just this game. There's been other games as well where we've done the same thing, where we've seen, like in the previous T20, the same thing has happened as well. We went out swinging at deliveries that we didn't need to. When you're losing quick wickets, you need to change it around. I watched David Malan put on a performance that was completely not what he usually does. He took his time at the crease, rotated the strike, found the gaps when he needed to, and then he kicked on in the last couple of overs. So they do adjust and they do adapt, and that is more of the mold that we should follow than a West Indies brand where it's just full out attack swing and let's hope for we smash sixes, like 6 sixes in one over.
Would be entertaining though. You can't deny that about the West Indies. But I'm so glad you brought up that series, Khalid, not just because England won it 3-0, but because in that series, Dawid Malan, you mentioned it so perfectly. That incredible knock in Pal on a relatively slow wicket, he completely changed his game. He was adaptable, he was versatile, he changed his mindset to win that game, and he ended up scoring the winning runs in the last over, as many people will remember. I certainly do. And then, of course, when it came to Cape Town, he went out all guns blazing. He changed his approach, his mindset, his mentality, depending on conditions and the match situation. That is why he rose to number 1 in the T20I rankings. And I mention it all the time, it's clarity, it's role clarity. That is what this South African side needs. It's what all good teams have. You look at England, and there was a fantastic example the other night with Liam Livingstone against Pakistan. His role, what he had to do in that situation, Liam, you go out there and you hit a 6. Take the pressure off England right now. And if you get out, so be it. What does he do? He goes and smashes a massive 6 and then gets out next ball. But the fact is, he did his job to perfection. So that is the key thing with England. It's clarity, it's versatility, and something which I love about England's game plan and approach to T20 cricket and ODI cricket is it's dynamic. These players are not robots. They're not going in there with a one-track mind or a one-track mentality of, let's play like this, and if we don't play like this, we aren't going to win. It's we go in, we're going to play our normal brand of cricket. If that isn't working, let's go to plan B. Let's go to plan C. And that is what separates England in white ball cricket right now to a lot of other nations. That isn't me saying that England are perfect by any means. Of course, it does backfire. You live and die by the sword. It's going to happen at times. But more times than not, it is working. And that is why England are a top team right now.
Aditya, similarly, what can we learn from India?
Well, one is certainly the structure of the team, where Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma have decided to open the batting, and they've got batting till 9 or 10 now. So they are coming out swinging. And if Aaron remembers the fifth T20 between India and England at Ahmedabad, when Virat and Rohit opened, they posted 225, I think, in 20 overs, and Virat came out unbeaten. So again, India is going that way as well, but it is an adaptable sort of team. I don't think India relies as much on that attacking approach of live by the sword and die by the sword, as Aaron just said. But India is an adaptable team, and what I really like about the team is that they've got balance. They've got great batting resource. They've got all-rounders, fast bowling all-rounders, spinning all-rounders, and a very good couple of fast bowlers as well. So they seem to have all the resources, and they've got that balance right, which I think is South Africa is still struggling to find. But most importantly, from a batting point of view, I think there is a plan. And more often than not, they've got an understanding of what score works for what pitch. And that to me is the major lesson that South Africa need to learn.
Yeah. And Abai, what can we learn from the USA?
I guess if I had to give like a few words of advice, I'd say never give up, even from like a cricketing perspective, because we've had to wait for so long and we finally have ODI status. I know it's a terrible comparison, but these are my words of encouragement.
I was going to say, if you got it wrong, I was going to say, no, that's incorrect. It's to dream the impossible dream. That is the thing we learned from.
No. I will stand up for you right now, and I will stand up for America as a cricketing nation. Ali Khan is class. Saurabh Netravalkar as well, one of the best in associate cricket. Okay, and my boy Tim Roy Allen as well. I will stand up for my American brothers across the Atlantic. But one thing that I will say just then, we had a great conversation there about each of the different sides. I mentioned about England, Aditya spoke about India, Khalid, you mentioned the West Indies. If you notice, there wasn't a single thing that they had in common in terms of the actual approach to the game. The West Indies go out there, they do their own thing. England do their own thing. India do their own thing. There isn't one thing or one way of winning T20 matches, but one thing that all of them have as a combined, I suppose, approach and mentality and perspective of T20 cricket is clarity, being dynamic and being adaptable. South Africa have to find their own way. We can only learn so many lessons from England or India or West Indies. You can pick and choose different lessons, in which to actually implement into this South African side, but they need an identity. And there again, I brought it up. I do it every single show. But I still think that South Africa need to find their own way, as opposed to copying in England, copying West Indies, copying in India. They need to find a way to win their matches. And as soon as they do that, I think things will start beginning to look up for the Proteas.
You know, when I was listening to Werner speak, right, he was talking about that, having those combinations, etc. But when I look at this T20 side that currently have, Aiden Markram and Janneman Malam have an excellent partnership mentality. They're also very good at doing those type of things. But so does Janneman and Quinton. They have an amazing ability to open the batting together. They all have attacking qualities within them and adaptability within their games that they've shown at all sorts of levels already. Aiden has shown his versatility when moving up and down the order. Janneman has shown that he can anchor an innings right until the end and then kick on and hold the innings together. Quinton de Kock is Quinton de Kock. We just need Temba to come to the party, and we just need David Miller to be more consistent and Rassie to do what Rassie does. And we have a very deadly top 6, I feel. And then if we get Dwayne Pretorius to come back in at number 7, then you have a whole different ball game you were working with, because you've got a guy that you can trust to smack the ball after a couple of balls and getting his eye in. Werner, you wanted to say something? I saw your hand go up. Guys, give us 40 likes as well. Smash the like button.
I just wanted to add to what United States have done right is they followed England's approach and brought in a few SA players to the domestic scene.
That was the comment, Werner, really. I thought this was going to be something really insightful then about Major League Cricket or something about the USA, you know, adapting and being versatile with their domestic cricket, but no, another jab at English cricket. By the way, talking of South Africans, people to watch for in county cricket, both of them made their debut for my county of Warwickshire today. Chris Benjamin, oh, that boy is so good. I'm telling you right now, scored 60 not out on his T20 debut, scored another 50 today, and killed Van Vollenhoven. Oh, my goodness.
What about David
Doesn't
Bedingham?
get a lot to get him going, eh?
It does. Well, not about Warwickshire players, no, to be honest, or cricket in general. But no, just before we do, I know, Khalid, we are getting on in the show as well. Have we mentioned Ireland at all in today's show? Or are we not mentioning them?
You can
I was going to say, because I just wanted to mention Paul Sterling. In particular, that first over was absolutely outstanding, and fair play to Ireland for trying something different, because he doesn't usually open the bowling. That was something which South Africa probably didn't plan for. They went hard at him. They started cutting and slashing the ball, and he got 2 quick wickets. So fair play to Ireland for showing some, again, adaptability, showing some proactiveness, I suppose, in terms of their mindset in today's game. But it's just the batting again. They aren't a great chasing side in T20I cricket. And we talk about balance. For me personally, I didn't quite like the balance of that team today. They did seem probably 1 or 2 batsmen short even. And I feel really, really bad for Kevin O'Brien as well, because you think back to 2020, he was actually in some decent form. COVID struck, he hasn't played a lot of cricket. He's now looking pretty rusty. And it's not looking great ahead of the T20 World Cup when you think of the top order batsmen that Ireland have at their disposal. So just for Ireland's sake, I mean, I think they've done a decent job with the ball. In particular today, those first 15 overs were absolutely fantastic. But again, they need a better balance. I still think they need some different personnel in there for the World Cup. But with that being said, I think they'll definitely qualify from their group, 100%. I think they're strong enough to go through.
All right. Actually, I tend to digress a little bit, but Khalid, do you know that Andreas Roos, who used to play for the Knights, he's now in Seattle, and Obus Pinar, who used to also play for the Knights in St. Louis.
And Shadley Van Schalkwijk, he's in America. Rusty to Ron.
Dane Big is supposed to go. I don't know if Dane is left
East Coast, though. East Coast.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know the West Side, East Coast, whatever. I just know.
I can fill you up on that.
Biggie Tupac, bro. That's what I know. East Coast, West Coast. Okay, guys, let's just wrap this up. Okay, Aditya, I want final words from you, then Werner, then Tsepo, then Abai, and then we can go with Adam.
Well, South Africa should be pleased with another series victory, and David Miller's return to form, as well as Vian Mulder's contribution with the bat. The bowling turned up again, and Mr. Tabrez Shamsi is just growing from strength to strength. He really seems to be at the peak of his powers. In saying that, I think every team strives for continuous improvement, and South Africa's focus should be on its top order batting, because what we've seen today was more than disappointing from the top order, and took a Herculean effort from David Miller to really rescue the Proteas. I don't think anyone, while it was happening, could have been particularly pleased about it. And again, like I said last time, I want to see runs from Temba Bavuma. I want to see more runs from Maiden Markham. And I really feel for Temba Bavuma, because he's captain of the team. He's been under so much scrutiny for such a long period of time, and he will be. But his shot selection today certainly didn't help his case, and I do hope that there will be greater application from him in the next few games to come.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see Temba making some good runs in the last game. It would probably, at the one hand, I want us to bat first again and put up a big total. Want everyone to make runs. Bavuma make runs. Rasi, I would maybe consider dropping Malan for the last game. I mean, I know he's in good form, but I just think the balance of our lineup just doesn't look right to me. And then I don't want Quinny to take his good form for granted. When you're on good form, you need to make it count, and he's good enough to make big scores for us, not quick fire 30s and 40s. Like, he had a very good series of the West Indies where he made, I think it was 350s in a row. So I'd like to see him continue that. Maybe today was a bit unlucky. I think he did get an edge to it. I'm not sure. Do you guys know why we don't have DRS in this series? Is it because Ireland can't afford it, or what's the reason? Anyone's
We do have DRS. We have DRS. Wait, in the T20?
Not in the T20 series.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Then I must have seen in the ODIs.
I think it's because of the grounds.
Okay.
I think that might be the.
But we didn't have it in Malahide either, but we did have it for the ODI series, so that's a bit strange.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
But okay, anyway, so I just want our batsmen to come to the party. I'm happy with the bowlers. If Ireland bats first, I actually hope they get a proper score so that we can get something we need to chase under some pressure, that we can test ourselves, test how we go through the middle orders. We can't keep, when we're chasing, we can't keep letting the run rate get out of hand. We can't be batting at a strike rate of 100 if we need 10 and over. So hopefully we get to test our batting lineup a bit more, and they can come through for us in the last game, getting into the Sri Lanka series, which I do not know if they have figured out what the fixtures for those are yet, but hopefully we can get that sorted.
Yeah, what I want to see in the next game, I want to see more of Bjorn Fontaine. Maybe it's because I coach a sport, and look, if you've done well in a game, I believe you deserve more games, and he deserves more of an opportunity to show his quality, because he did pretty well today on a pitch that was giving him assistance. So I do want to see that. Also Bjorn Hendricks, I want to see other players get opportunity to step up for South Africa. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to see Quinton de Kock or David Miller get dropped, but I want to see how we would fare without them. Because what if they get injured? I want to see forward thinking from the coaching staff on that front, giving people opportunities to play, because there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture. That's all I want to see. Bjorn Fontaine, more of him, please.
All right. So first of all, I want to see a significant contribution from the captain. I'm eagerly waiting. I know he can do it. I hope he does it. And compared to this game and the game before, I want to see a more dominant performance. I don't think we've seen much of that in recent times, but I don't mind it if SA either bat or chase. But regardless of the situation, I just want to see more of a positive, more of a resolute approach. So that's what I'm going to add here.
100% a buy. Could not have put it better. I want to see a dominant performance as well from the boys in green. Kevin O'Brien, I want him to score at least 50. Same with Paul Sterling as well in the Ireland boys. I'd love to see a good performance from Ireland. Just finish off the series on a positive note, because they have played some decent cricket in this series. They have come out on the wrong side of both results. But I think just one win. We mentioned the M-word, momentum. Just something to end the series on a positive note, per se. So that's what I want to see from the Ireland boys. In terms of South Africa, definitely runs from Bavuma. Again, I've got absolutely nothing against him, but we're just looking at form right now. I've actually got his stats in front of me. In 2021, in 7 games, averaging 12.71 with a 104.7 strike rate. For a captain, he does need to step up to the plate, step up to the mark a bit more. Those numbers aren't good enough just right now. But that being said, we know what he's capable of. He can score big. He can go big. It's the final game of the series. I just want to see him go out there and be fearless. Go out there, play your shots, play a captain's innings. Just dominate proceedings, as Abai said. So that's what I want to see from Timber. And just to pick up on what Werner said as well, if you do win the toss, try something different. Just chase. And if Ireland get 180, 190, 200, just go for it. As simple as that. So that's what I want to see now that it's a quote-unquote dead rubber. I don't like saying that because every single game of cricket is very, very compelling, to say the least. But for me, personally, I'd like to see South Africa chase. And if they can chase 180, 190, again, it's a major step forward, basically, to end the series on for the Proteas.
Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I love everything that everybody has said on this particular show. It was a very exciting show. Werner, please come back on more shows. I love your insight into the game, 100%. Of course. Aditya, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Tsepo, bye-bye. Aaron, no, I'm joking. Aaron, I love you. Thanks for coming on the show. We've been asking you, but he doesn't want to. So, guys, DM him and go to Instagram and hound him, because we keep on asking him, but he's always watching this team and this other team. It's named after an animal. Warwickshire. I don't know this other team, and I can't remember what its name is. This random rubbish team. Anyway,
South Africa.
It's not important to even remember the name.
Number of World Cups.
But guys, thank you for coming on the show. Please do subscribe to Cricket Fanatics magazine. I'll put the link. Is in the description, of course. And the link is on the screen as well right now. You'll get free subscription to all of our back issues as well. So just go ahead and click that. Smash the like button as well. Let's get 50 likes on this video. And also subscribe. Get us closer to that 3,000 mark. We want to move to there very, very quickly. Let's try to do this by end of August. Let's try to get to 3,000 by the end of August. Maybe that's a possibility, guys, to share it with everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily Q&A show. It's a special, different type of show. So if you guys also want to join, you can come on the show, any of you guys on there as well. It's going to basically be just myself and Aditya answering questions from the fans. So go to Instagram, of course. You can ask us questions there, or just come to the live chat and you can ask us questions there too. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care and enjoy your Friday. Cheers.